We sure are.
Oh, right, of course.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. My guest today, back by popular demand, is Janet. At the age of 68, she can now say that she is down, I believe, 87 pounds. She's going to tell you the whole fabulous story of how she did it. If you want to be in a wonderful, supportive program with her that we're starting soon called Reboot. She's coming back, even though she's been a tremendous success. But first, she is going to make a delicious recipe. Because if you watch the last show, I forget exactly what did she say about potatoes. If all else fails, eat a potato. And
That's
she's going to
right.
show
She
you
did.
her version of a twice baked potato. Please welcome back to the show, Janet. How are you? How can you live in 18 degrees? I can barely live in 33.
I know. And then, Colorado was negative in the negatives and I'm like, I shouldn't be so spoiled, but I'm just not used to it being so cold. So
Yeah.
so it's good being in the kitchen. It warms me up.
Right. Well, I love that you are not only successful at this, but that you maintain long-term success and you did it in your 60s because so many people give up in their 40s, 50s, 30s, 20s, you name it. And so many people on this show haven't had their permanent weight loss success until their 60s and 70s and even 80s.
And people tell me it's hard to lose weight when they're old, and it's like it just melts right off if you eat the right things and
Mhm.
just follow the guidelines, stay left of the red line, and you won't get in trouble. But I think a lot of older people, they entertain themselves by going out to eat. And I have not, I've gone out to eat maybe twice. I mean, remember, even with you and me, I said, let me make something. Let's not go to
I
a
know you
restaurant.
hosted me. That was so nice. You hosted me at the I
The
forget the
Veg Fest.
yeah, I know the Veg Fest. I cannot think of the name of it was in Washington, but I can't remember the name. And you
Oh,
were
the
so kind.
Puyallup.
Yeah, but I went to the Seattle Veg Fest actually is
Yeah,
what they called it, even though it wasn't in Seattle. But that was so kind of you to make all my food. We had this lovely picnic on the way to the airport. It was fantastic.
it to me, I just don't want to, it's like going into a bar, going into a restaurant. I don't see the attraction because you don't get enough food. It's all got crap in it. I just don't see the attraction when you feel so good eating this way.
And it's expensive. I think it's the pleasure trap. I think it's the pleasure trap.
It must be. It must be because I don't have any interest in it at all. Although I do want to go in and encourage vegan restaurants to do, SOS free or SOFAS free. Um,
We've
at
had a
least
few up
SOS.
here. We have had a few up here that are doing it, you
I
know?
know. I know. I'm so impressed. You guys, that's so cool.
It's pretty cool. Pretty,
Yeah,
pretty cool.
we
Yeah.
need to spread it around.
Spread the joy. So potatoes, twice
Yes,
baked. The only thing better than one baked potato is a twice baked potato.
these are so good. And so I have the potatoes cooked, and I've got the centers out of them, and I've got the flesh right here. And so I'm just gonna add a couple of things. You're supposed to, chop up an onion and separate the garlic and bake them with the potatoes. And I just threw the whole onion and the whole garlic in. I can't be bothered to, why are they peeling the skin off and then wrapping it in parchment paper and foil? I mean, just let it cook in its own skin, is
Yep.
what I always say. So I'm just gonna put these in my NutriBullet and I'm gonna mix them up. So this potato recipe is a wonderful way to introduce yourself back into eating potatoes again. All right, am I plugged in? Yes, I am. I love that Zoom. Um,
Yeah, it
mute.
does. It does mute the sound.
Wonderful. So I have been coming live every day, Chef AJ, on my channel to support the reboot and to cook. And I started making Amy, Broccoli Mom's Indian cookbook recipes, and Jennifer and I are doing a Zoom on Mondays to cook and just support everybody who wants to do the reboot. We got to all stay in this together. Community, your community has really been a lifesaver to me. And they help me stay the course.
Well, I thank you for that. I'm so glad. How did you even find me in the first place?
You know, I was trying to think today when you were asking Tracy how she found you. And I was doing Michael Greger's How Not to Die cookbook and making all of his recipes. And then I learned about Dr. Bolshevik's, and I got his 28-day fiber fuel reset the microbiome plan, and I followed that. And it was right after that that I found you. And I think I must have got an email. What did you do in the fall of 2020 or the spring of 2021? I think it was just before I did the reboot. I mean, I think the first year I did something else that you offered, and it was $1.
Oh, could have been, yeah, it could have been like the trial of Feel Fabulous, you know?
That's probably what it was. And I just love the community. So I just stayed and I've never looked back. And I do the check-ins every Saturday with Zena that I can. And the Wednesday nights and just the challenges. I love getting up. And each morning there's a recording waiting for me and a video. And I love it when there's a success story. It's just so motivating. It keeps me going.
Well, you are the success story today.
I just, I struggled from 12 years old on trying every darn thing known to man to lose weight. I just hated being fat, but I loved eating, and there was a lot of stress in the household, and eating was my comfort. And I had to eat it all because if I just ate some, I'd get caught. So the whole thing had to disappear so that in all the confusion with 7 people in the house, nobody suspected, or if they did, they didn't say anything. But somebody must have, I don't know. But anyways, I started overeating at a young age. And so I started dieting at a young age. Okay. So I got the potatoes mashed here. Now I'm going to add some jalapeno, and I roasted it a little bit. So instead of pepper and chipotle seasoning, I use jalapeno. And then instead of pepper, I'm going to put in a little bit of the no salt seasoning from Costco.
Yeah, that's back. It was gone for a while, but I hear it's back.
I called Costco and I bugged them, and they said they were working on it and trying to find another distributor for it. And they did. They did, and it's good. It's a little bit of a different recipe than the first one, but I really enjoy it. Okay, and then I'm going to mix in some scallions that I chopped up, and of course, some steamed kale. Oh, that was great. I was a lifetime Weight Watchers twice. I made my goal and stayed there for about a minute. And then as soon as you gain 2 pounds back, you're no longer a lifetime member. You gotta do it all over again.
Seriously, that's still the policy?
No, that was way back.
Wow.
When I was a kid. Okay, now.
Did you hear that Jenny Craig went out of business?
You're kidding.
I did. The other day I heard that.
Wow.
Closing their doors because I guess they said too many people just want the drugs now.
Wow. Oh my gosh. So people aren't signing up for it. That just amazes me. So I'm going to do 6 of these in the oven, and I'm going to do 1 in the in the Instapot just for fun. I haven't tried that. And I was heating them up in the Instapot and they were really good. So I thought, oh, I'm just going to try the second time around. You just do it for 30 minutes. So I'm just going to pile it in here. It's so simple. Oh, I tell you, potatoes, they're the spice of life. I was brokenhearted when I started dieting and found that it wasn't going to be okay to have potatoes. So this program is just perfect for me. And the fact that I'm a volume eater, and no one ever told me about volume eater. In fact, in the beginning, Weight Watchers was all you can eat vegetables. But my mother said, well, you're never going to learn how to eat like a lady.
Oh
If
my
you eat
goodness.
a whole, yeah, you eat a whole cauliflower head at once. So, I kept trying to be the eat like a lady model, and it doesn't work for me. I need food. I'm very active, and I want to be able to eat when I'm hungry. So this program is perfect for me. And the Reboot is so much fun. You get that every morning. You get a hit of dopamine from either Chef AJ or JP or the two of them together. And it'll keep you motivated. It's so silly not to do it for yourself. It's such a wonderful community. I'm just going to keep piling this on and use it all because it's so good.
I love that you said community because Debbie, who's watching live, said, woo woo, or woot woot, woof woof, or woot woot. I'm rebooting and actually going to show up this time. Yay. Well, showing up is like 90%, I think.
It is. That's
Thanks,
all you got to
AJ.
do.
A handful of us did the McDougall 10 or 12-day program in June of 2022. We still meet up every Saturday via Zoom, and a few of us will be rebooting. We are devotees of AJ, and our goal is to be with you at Rancho La Puerta someday. Well, thank you. And if your goal is to be there this year, the dates for Rancho La Puerta are August 17th through 24th. They've cut the group size in half because people wanted it smaller. So we're going to be actually doing a show on February 5th with the executive chef from the ranch so people can see what it's all about. Nice.
Wonderful. Now, I've almost got it. We'll just leave it on there. Steven loves these too. That's another thing. Sorry.
They're so easy to make. I don't know why I don't make those more.
I know they're so simple. That is it. So I'm going to stick these in my Breville. Just back here. I've got you on wheels.
What's the name of your YouTube channel? Somebody's asking, Janet.
At plant-powered peddler, like pedaling a bicycle.
Mm-hmm. I'll put that in the show notes.
Okay. It's on the last page of my PowerPoint too.
Good. Yeah. Well, let's get it in the show notes. So are you on any other social media other than YouTube?
I'm on Instagram, LUV, the number 2, cycle, CYCLE, Ricky.
Okay.
RICKEY.
Like a lime, Ricky?
Yeah. Didn't know there was a Ricky line.
It's a beverage.
Okay. These put on air fry. Started. I better check it after 10 minutes. Okay. Another thing I always love to show everybody what I'm up to. And somebody gave me some arugula seeds. So I was sent away for the arugula microgreen kit, and it came yesterday. So I'm doing it. And it's this little black thing here. So I'm supposed to check it at 2 o'clock. And all I see are seeds. When the guy did it on the channel, he saw germination. But I just see seeds. I don't know if that's germination. I would think I need to see little sprouts. Maybe they are in there. I just can't I don't have the sight, these old eyes. But it's only been 24 hours. And then for the third time, I am making soy yogurt. And I just realized I was just reading over the instructions before you and I got on. And I was supposed to bring the milk to a boil and then lower the temperature back down to 108 and then stick it in the acidophilus and then stick it in the Instapot. And I didn't bring it to a boil. I just brought it up to 108 degrees. So I guess soy milk isn't cooked. I don't know if 108 is enough to cook it, but
I don't know. But don't be so impatient with the arugula. It takes more than a day, you know.
oh yeah, it takes several days. Yeah, 7 days. But you know, you want it to look like what they say in the when they tell you about it, how to do it. So anyway, all right. So I am gonna share my screen, okay?
Absolutely.
And I am going to show this PowerPoint. This is Stephen and I wanted to say Stephen also joins me. Let's see, slideshow from beginning. Here we go. Whoop, that's not the beginning. Whoop, going the wrong way. Going, hey. Okay, now why can't I go back? Maybe I go this one. There we go.
Perfect.
This was this summer. And both of us had high cholesterol, high blood pressure, not real high, but higher. You know, we thought we were eating really healthy before we got onto this program. And no, all our numbers, my A1C was like 56 or 57. I mean, just before pre-diabetic. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we eating that isn't right? And that's when we went on a bike tour with some friends, and two of them had gone whole food. And so we were all ears and listening to them. Although in the back of our minds, we're thinking, oh no, these two have gone crazy. And we watched the DVD, Eating You Alive, and I could not eat animals after that. I couldn't eat meat. And so overnight I was vegetarian. Well, then I thought, I've been vegetarian before and I didn't lose any weight. So I thought, I need to try this vegan thing, because I remembered Bill Clinton, that he looked so amazing, so different when he went vegan. So I thought, okay, that's got to be the way to go. Well, but I didn't understand about calorie density or oil. And I used sun-dried tomato vinaigrette in my dressing, and I gained 7 pounds.
Oh boy.
Yeah, didn't take long. Like within, that was in April, May, and by June, I realized this isn't working. So I got Dr. Greger's book and I thought, okay, let's put this to the test. So July 1st, I went off all oil. You know, I went whole food, salt, oil, and sugar free, and cooked out of his cookbook. And I just started making everything out of that, because you do wonder when you first start this, what do I eat? Which is another thing about the reboot, you guys. There's a meal plan now. So if you do like to have, you know, an idea of what to make, there's a meal plan with recipes, and you know, you can't go wrong. In fact, last year, just for fun, I just followed along with the meal plan. And on my channel, I just made whatever AJ said to make. And it was fun. So it's definitely worth your time. Definitely. You deserve it. So anyways, we switched. And at first Steven said, well, you go on ahead. I'll do my thing. But I started making things and he started tasting them. And within a week, he said, I'll just eat what you're making, because it tasted so good. So it didn't take us long to adjust. We didn't really go through a big thing. I'm not a salt eater anyway. I've watched my weight my whole life, and salt was something that I just thought I'm not going to get started with that. And the only thing was, fat and dairy. Those were the things that were really valuable for me to give up. And the weight started melting off. And within 15 months, I was down, to this size. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, my Weight Watchers goal was 138. And now I weigh 113. And I mean, it just kept coming off. It was the coolest thing. I thought, oh, this is so cool. This works. And then I lost all the weight and I'm like, oh, what do I do now? Because this has never happened before to get this thin. And I was kind of worried that I might gain it back again because I was just thinner than I'd ever dreamed I could be. But I just kept eating the same way. And I'm like, oh, well, that's the ticket. Just keep eating the same way. Just like Chef AJ says, everything you say, Chef AJ, you're always right. You think Goldhammer's always right. You're always right.
No, but thank you. But no, I just do what he says.
Well, me too. And I do what you say, and I do what Dr. Lyle says. And, I just love it. I just love eating this way. Oh, the veggies for breakfast. I thought, I don't know if I can do that. I was definitely an oatmeal and fruit eater. And one morning I was making your Brussels sprout recipe for later on in the day. And I hadn't eaten yet. And I tasted one and it tasted so good. I had another and then another and then another. And then I thought, hey, I'm eating veggies for breakfast and I'm liking it. And that was it. I never turned back. I love having veggies for breakfast. And they can be cooked. They can be big salads, with all kinds of stuff in it. Although I tend not to eat fat, any kind of fat in the salad. I make all my dressings like you do, Chef AJ, with no fat. I love your honey mustard dressing. And I was thinking the next time I make it, I'm going to try some horseradish in it because I found a horseradish root at Sprouts. And so I ground it all up and I freeze it. I hope it lasts because a root is huge and it goes a long way. So anyways, the weight stayed off. And in fact, I'm thinking that, no, I guess I was around 115 by that 15 months. And now I'm around 113. So imagine that 2 pounds more on maintenance. It's just amazing. And it's been, so it's been since December of 2021. So 22, a whole year I maintained after spending a whole year losing. It's just so cool. So I've been on the, I feel like I've been this way all my life now, except that I've got that body, where I look in the mirror and I think, is that me? So I mean, I feel like I've been eating this way all my life, but I'm not used to having a little body. But it's really fun to see that it's still there. So the big things for me were the calorie density and the pleasure trap. Learning about those two things just really hugely made a difference for me. And this was a trip. We love to do bike touring, and I just wanted to show this trip we did up to Bellingham. So we had 6 days of no rain, which is a good thing here, and it was in September. And so Stephen and I thought, let's take advantage of it, and we loaded up our bikes and we took off. And that camper behind me was an Airbnb, and we actually slept in that this night. So, we're just having so much fun. And we stay whole food, plant exclusive, SOFAS free the whole time we're out. Even when we slept in this camper, I had things that we could have. There was a microwave on a tray nearby, and I used that. And there was a sink in the bathroom, and I used that. And I can always find a way to keep us on course. And it's fun to find a way. So that was me on the left there, petting the kitty. That was in my 20s.
Wow.
And yeah. And that's not my heaviest. I think I'm up in the 180s there. And I went up I wouldn't weigh myself or after 199 and 3/4. And so I don't know how much higher I went than that. But this picture is the only one that survived because I hated being fat and I hated having my picture taken. And so anytime I found a fat picture, I just destroyed them. And also any old photos, Stephen and I, we gave away everything to go traveling. Twice we did that. And so each time I pulled out more of my photo albums because we didn't have any place to put them. So we just got rid of them. And it is kind of an amazing feeling to have nothing, like I think the lowest we got was there were 4 those black and yellow tote containers. And my girlfriend kept them for us while we went on a bike tour, around the United States. And that was all we owned in the world. And it was quite a wonderful feeling to be free of possessions. Let me just test really quick. Oh, those look good. I think I'm just going to keep those at 10 minutes. So those are I was looking at the potatoes in the air fryer. Those are the ones I'll eat for lunch. So that's my before. And then this, so I was able to get down from that, 200-pound mark down to about 160, doing all kinds of things. Body for Life, Janine Roth. I went to one of her workshops. I read Diets Don't Work by Bob Schwartz. And I started to understand that one of the reasons I binge is because I diet. And in order to stop binging, I would have to stop dieting. And so I promised myself that I wouldn't diet no matter how much I binged. I wouldn't diet. And I would, I binged. I'm like, okay, but I'm not going to diet. I'm not going to do it. And by golly, very quickly, there was no reason to binge because I would always binge because I was always getting ready to go on a diet. And I thought, I got to eat this because I'm never going to eat it again. And, I would last a few hours and dieting got so ineffective. But insanity, I kept trying the same old things and without success. So I guess because I'm so active and I sort of ate healthy, I could stay around at 160, but I couldn't get below that. And so this picture where I've got the flowery shirt on, that's me on the left with Stephen right next to me. That's what I was in March of 2020.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the 2 people to the left of us, Charlie and Carol, they were the 2 vegans. And so we just watched what they ate the whole time and then decided to hop on and try it ourselves. And actually this whole group went vegan. Isn't that cool? The whole group. It's so cool. And we still are vegan. And so now when we go on a bike tour, we find out where the nearest grocery store is instead of that used to be the nearest bar or tavern or nice restaurant. Now, Stephen and I we don't go out to eat. The other ones will, and they slip and slide doing that. But I just cook in the room every night, and I just love that I can do that. So this is an after picture. This was me this summer. And I like that picture so much, I thought I would put it at the beginning and in the middle. And then this is me in the winter. And I can't believe how slender my body is. So I just want to show you, if you do the reboot, you can have about the body that you so deserve. Like you always say, oh, Chef AJ. So
You can do it.
You can do it. I just want to encourage people. And here's some of the food. So this is potatoes and veggies. And it's sort of that, 50-50. And I eat my veggies first. And then the hardest thing for me is waiting till I'm hungry and stopping when I'm no longer hungry. And that is that's my 2024 vision, is to be able to do that more readily, less effort fully, as I get into the practice of doing that. And I realized as I eased into that this year, because this has been my whole thing for 2024, that I kept on wanting to force myself to not eat until I'm hungry. And I finally realized, Janet, this never works to try to make yourself do something. Why are you still doing it, trying the old way? And I thought, oh yeah, what's the new way? Well, I watched Broccoli Mom. I watched her with Rami, and Rami's her little 2-year old. And when Rami gets fussy and Amy tries to ignore her, she just gets louder. And that's exactly what my little kid does. The more I say, no, you can't have it, the more I want it. And so what she does is she picks Rami up and she gives her kisses and hugs and gives her, a taste of something, and she loves her. And I thought, that's what I need to do. I need to love myself, and do it because it's what I want. So as soon as I thought that, there a shift happened in my brain, which was the same shift as when, I was trying to restrict doing this, and you or someone told me, Janet, you're not eating enough. And I'm like, oh, really? I mean, you got to flip it on its side, or however you call that, where we've just been conditioned incorrectly, and we need to uncondition and recondition the correct way, which is through love and compassion and permission, and encouraging myself rather than discouraging. And this is the first batch of twice baked potatoes that I made. And so I thought, I got to show you a picture, although I'm going to show you the real thing here. I didn't realize I was going to do it today, but then I thought, what's more appropriate than a potato recipe? And then this is just sequencing. I love to start with a nice big salad for my main meal of the day. And on the left of that is I took spaghetti squash and made spaghetti squash patties. And that was another thing that I thought about making today. And I think next time I do it, I'm going to add some shredded potato in with it, because then they'll get a little bit more toothsome, as you put it, Chef AJ.
Ah,
And then this is my links, the YouTube channel at Plant Powered Peddler. And what I do is I just have a small group, and we just, whenever I have a chance and I'm cooking something or I'm bicycling, I'll go on and visit with people. And I just love the chat. And in my Instagram, definitely I use that when I'm on the road traveling on the bike and showing people how, hey, if I can tour on a bike and stay whole food, plant exclusive, SOFAS free, I invite you to too. And then I started a pod, and I've got a Facebook group called the Kitsap County Podsters, and anybody is welcome to join. I post all my videos on there for people that are considering the switch and are curious about what to eat. I just try to vary and demonstrate how food is so good when we make it this way, like dry sauteing the onions and adding in lots of garlic. And I've been cooking from Amy's Indian cookbook. We cooked from your cookbook, Chef AJ, and from the plant-based woman warrior cookbook. And we just try to show people how wonderful it is to eat this way. So I'm going to stop share here, and let's see if I can show our potatoes.
yum.
What I'll do, I'll probably just I'll start with one, but look at this. It got nice and brown and warm. Mm. Oh, and it smells so good. I should
Crispy
taste
on
it.
the outside, creamy on the inside. Doesn't that look delicious, you guys? You folks.
Definitely. Let's test some here.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what it's going to be like.
Plant-powered certified nutrition coach says most folks on diets are constantly starving, and that's why
Hmm.
they gain the weight back.
And the big thing for me is, how do I keep this off And that's why they gain the weight back, because it's unsustainable. The other diet, you guys, are unsustainable. But this one you can go on.
I
I
think
mean,
because it's not really a diet. I don't even think of the way we eat as a diet because there's no deprivation and we're eating so much food. Diets generally are limiting your food.
yep, it's
Yep.
so different.
Tina says, I'm a true believer of the starch solution and all the good eats AJ presents. Thank you. And
Me
let's
too.
see.
Who's doing it? Who's up for the reboot?
Oh, your friend Jennifer's
Hi,
watching.
Jennifer. I
And
forgot I wouldn't be able to see the chat on Zoom.
that's right. You can't see it on Zoom.
Yeah.
Thomasina says Rancho with Chef AJ and friends. Oh, yeah. Can't wait to see you
Oh,
back there. And
definitely.
let's see. I love watching and hanging out with Janet on her YouTube channel, says Stephanie.
Oh, thanks, Stephanie.
And Jennifer says Janet is a wonderful example of how it does work. It just shows it's never too late. You didn't have success until your 60s, and a lot of people are a lot younger.
And I think it was almost, I've proved to myself that all the other ways don't work so thoroughly. And, when I see people have a slip incident, I just, I just know it, I've been there. I've done that so many times, and you can't get back on. And why get off anyway? I mean, just this is it. This is the way I eat. This is real food, and that's what I want to eat.
Harleen says, I was a fat vegan before I learned about whole food plant-based eating, and being SOFAs free helped even more.
There are a lot of vegans that are not whole food.
Yep, keeping
And,
it simple is the key. Somebody says, Janet looks awesome in the picture. I'm
oh,
sure it
thank
was one
you.
at the beginning. And okay. Oh, did you have any wobbles? Asks Truthy, and how did you get through them?
I am so upset that we've been sold a bill of goods. I have no interest in wobbling. I would say, I have potlucks for my pod now every month, but last year I had it every other month. And people would bring things, and of course, it's just for vegans because, we don't all need to be the kids in church. I want to have people who are curious about what we do come and learn, either vegan or sad standard American dieters, to show them how good our food is. And so some of them bring dishes that might have something in them. Well, I've got a separate table that's SOFA's free, but I think some people that don't they don't think like, um, okay, so I might have eaten something that had some salt in it. And then I know because later on my fingers swell up. So now when I go to the potlucks, I just eat my own food. I don't trust anybody. So that might have happened once or twice, but my body tells me. So yeah.
Absolutely. Jesse says being SOFAs free on the road is a real accomplishment. Diane says, I finished The Pleasure Trap on Audible a few weeks ago. I'm also looking at eating to the left of the red line. Well, why don't you join us for a 30-day experiment, Diana, because we're starting Reboot soon. Colleen says, another great transformation. Mrs. Aloha says, did Janet during her fat loss phase have any plateaus? And if so, what did you mentally, emotionally tell yourself? And did you change anything you were doing?
When the weight would slow down, and I don't think there would be more than a month that would go by. And Dr. Lyle says, just weigh yourself once a month. So when the weight loss slowed down, I went to a once a month weigh, and I would weigh 3 days in a row and take the average. And I would have to look at my calendars. I wrote it all down for Susanna once, what I lost each month. And I've got it somewhere, but I could look that up and let you guys know. But I didn't care. The food is so good this way. And as long as I wasn't gaining, I'm happy. Because I mean, even when I got down to 138, I didn't think I was going to lose any more weight because I'd never, come anything close to that before then. So I just kept staying the course and listening in, and the community is so important because I saw what happened with people that went off that said, what the heck? And even today, there are days where I think, oh, what's the use? You know, like your brain does that too. You can't trust your brain. You just can't trust it. Read The Pleasure Trap again. It says things that aren't true. And sure enough, you know, the next day, if I feel that way, the next day I'll wake up and I feel great again. So put it to the test, experiment.
Right. Just do an experiment. You don't have to say
Yeah.
you're going to eat this way forever. That's why the reboot's only 30 days. And the Who's It says, is Reboot available in replay or is it mostly live? So tomorrow I'm going to go do an in-depth discussion of what it is with JP and answer all your questions. But it's a 30-day program that's delivered every day through a video that that we'd love for you to watch. It's never longer than 20 minutes. There's a forum off of Facebook. So it's a private forum that's supported by our success coaches. And then there are 4 live interactions, 4 consecutive weekends that go for a minimum of 3 hours. One with myself, one with JP, just John Pierre, the fitness guru, one with Dr. Ellen Goldhammer, and one with Dr. Doug Lyle, where all your questions are answered. And Artie on Instagram says, do you feel like you don't belong when you eat your own food, or don't people tell you that it's too rigid? If you don't mind, I'm going to answer that first, Janet, and then you can give your opinion. We grew up Orthodox, so I was always the oddball and always had to eat my own food. So I also have multiple food allergies. So it never bothered me. So no, I kind of feel special because everywhere I go, I brought my own food to weddings and bar mitzvahs, and my food's better and people are jealous of my food. So I think it's going to depend on your confidence level and personality. So how do you feel about that, Janet?
No one has ever noticed. No
Yeah,
one cares. They're
right.
busy. I mean, especially at the potlucks, because there's all these wonderful dishes. They all look beautiful. And they're busy getting their own thing.
Right. Crazy Farm Girl says, I'm thinking about rejoining UWL. So UWL hasn't existed in, gosh, I want to say 5 years. But we have been doing reboots since then, just so you know. But my book is called The Secrets to Ultimate Weight Loss. Would love to partner with someone as an accountability partner, a kind, compassionate, yet someone willing to commit, as I would do the same. So in Reboot, we have ways for you to connect with people because you're all doing the same program, and it's done off of Facebook in the private forum. And that's where a lot of people have found ongoing friendships and support, where sometimes there's 2, 3, 4, where they are on an ongoing text thread. So that might be something you want to consider.
I
Jennifer
love the
saying,
community. I
yep,
love Feel Fabulous Over
absolutely.
40. I mean, that has been so wonderful. And the check-ins on Saturday, we go into she puts us into rooms where there's just 2 or 3 of us, and we can talk to each other and work things out and come up with some ideas and just get support. And a lot of people, you know, they come on and then they leave when it comes to going into rooms. And I just think, no, don't leave, don't leave. It's just so valuable to have one-on-one time with each other and help each other. So I highly recommend getting on board with this. And just,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have your own community, just join this community. Or even if you do, I mean, really, I spend most of my time now with all of you. I You get
So
me.
yeah. Jean says, it's so sad to hear you felt the need to destroy your photos of that time in your life. We are so hard on ourselves. I don't like looking at old photos of me personally. I can understand that. And there's a question from Jean as well. Did the people around you support your new way of eating?
Well, like I said, that whole group that I bicycle tour with, we all went vegan. And I mean, they're not as strict as I am. And so they might tease me a little bit. I mean, because they all go out to dinner and I don't want to go. But you know what? I just hang in there. And now they don't tease me anymore. People get used to it. At first they thought I was being a little bit over the top. And I mean, even now they probably do, but they don't say it anymore. And I don't care because I look great and I feel great. So it's just enough reinforcement for me that I just have no interest in going back.
Yeah,
I'm not
nice.
going back.
Well, thank you, those who said they pre-ordered my book. Do you still pretty much eat like the same kind of what I eat in a day now as you did when you were losing weight?
Yeah, yeah, I eat the same way. I mean, like I say, I try different cookbooks and things, but I keep it pretty simple. I love a big raw salad. And I love, you know, just a potato on the side, just like you do. And, um, I'm not, I don't do a lot of desserts. I mean, I love fresh fruit. And so, yeah, there's no reason to change. I love the way things are right now. And I'm going to show you the potatoes here. Maybe I'll bring them out. These are so good. Oh, Chef AJ, I wish I could share them.
Me too. I mean, how does anybody manage without a Breville? I mean, I
know.
didn't have one for most of my life, but now that I have it, I'd say I use it every day.
It's all I've got. I didn't even have an oven put in. So I just have this little kitchen. And I thought the Breville is all I need. I don't want an oven. I didn't hardly ever use one before. So the Breville I use every day practically. And the Instant Pot and the blender.
Yep. Those are some of my favorites. Now, do you pedal every day?
No, I haven't pedaled since October. It's been so cold and wet. In the summer, I'll go every day if I'm on tour. If I'm home, I usually alternate a day of bicycling and then a day of walking and working out and then a day of bicycling. But I do something
Bicycling,
every day
bicycling outside or inside?
outside in the
Yeah.
summer. In the
Okay.
winter, I walk 6 miles. I walk 3.5 in the morning and 2.5 in the evening. And then I work out 3 times a week. And I've been doing Adrian's 30-day yoga. AJ from Feel Fabulous Over 40 told us about it in the check-in the other day. And I thought, oh, I'm going to try that. So I've been doing that one. She's the one that she's got the Aussie, the dog that does yoga with her.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
There was like over 1 million hits on the first video.
were you also a peddler when you had the excess weight?
I proved beyond a doubt that exercise will not get you thin.
Yeah. Is it easier to ride now with 87 pounds gone?
It is such a joy to ride. Everything I do is so much more fun without that extra weight and, just all the thoughts that go with being heavy. And, I'm a retired physical therapist and I was a PT and I couldn't get the weight off. And, just was it, it was awful while it was going on, but I realized now that it's been my greatest teacher, this just going through this whole experience and now having an answer with this program. It's just changed my life, Chef AJ.
How did you get through the rough addictive beginning when your body is screaming for fill in the blank with whatever your individual vice is? My weakness is mayonnaise. How did you replace that? Kathy Hester has some wonderful mayonnaise recipes actually that I just saw on her blog made out of roasted onions. And then Chef Dell has one made out of, I believe it is cauliflower, but I think it's the fat you want, not necessarily the mayonnaise.
Well, I am a food addict and I don't really have I'm addicted to overeating. And it just, I love sweets, I love savory, just anything. And so being able to eat as much as I want has been incredible. I just had to change the calorie density.
Mhm.
So now I've been doing it. So 20, 21, 22, 23, and now 24. And now I'm really honing in on this whole only eat when I'm hungry, stop when I'm not hungry anymore. And, at first I was trying to eat until I'm full, but that doesn't work. But there's a finer line, or I can tell when I'm not hungry anymore, but I don't want to stop eating.
Yeah.
So it's just something I'm going to play with this year. Maybe even talk to Dr. Lyle or who's the German girl?
Well, we know what he's going to say. When anybody brings that to him, he's going to say that's because eating to the left of the red line is not sustainable. Our ancestors did. You need to add some of the higher calorie dense food like
Oh,
avocado, tofu,
oh,
or things like that. He's done several talks about that. I don't know if you've paid attention to them, but that's what he'll.
yeah. I did hear him say that, but Hmm.
Did your doctor, what did he think of your success? Was he or she supportive?
She and everyone in the office is fat, to put it bluntly.
Mm,
And she's not impressed. In fact, right now I've got some low numbers on my labs, and she jumps to, thinking it's a blood disease and wants me to get all these tests. And so I consulted with Dr. Baresh the other day,
mhm.
and she gave me some really good feedback. And so we're going to do some of the ones that she wants. I hope I've put in a email to her. Um, and then Dr. Varesh, she's, "Well, have they tested your iron?" And I'm like, "No." "Well, ask her if she'll test your iron and your ferritin." I like your hair, by the way.
Thank you. Dr. Varesh being Dr. Chilla Varesh, who is one of the staff doctors at the True North Health Center.
That's true. I did not mention, but I fasted at True North last year, a year ago now, for 5 days. I lasted 5 days, Chef AJ, but I was on broth that last day, so I don't even know if that counts. Or no, maybe I guess it was the day after that. I did fast for 5 days, and then refed for three. And she was my doctor there, and she's just wonderful. And it's so wonderful to have a lifestyle medicine doctor in my court.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, we seem to find that many of the people that have been successful, not that it's a requirement, have had some experience at least going to True North one time to kind of, as they say, drink the Kool-Aid.
yeah. And if there is something going on, that's where I'll go. She says, "I think you're just really healthy," and I said, "I do too." So you know how our numbers go down because we just like white blood cells. We don't need white blood cells. We don't have any infection or inflammation going on. But I guess there's enough other things that are low that I better go get some things checked out. So,
Yeah.
but I take my B12 was low, and I got more consistent about taking my B12, and the body responded, and right away I'm right in the middle of the range now. And my vitamin D was low, and that got up to speed as soon as I got consistent. And I even had a elevated liver enzyme, and that normalized. So it is amazing how this stuff works. I mean, it's amazing. I just love it.
What's the best part of looking and feeling great at 68?
Oh, it's so cool I get things at Costco, because I mean, if Costco doesn't have it, I don't want it because I hate shopping. And I have to get small. And even the smalls are too big. And it took me a while to talk myself into, I kept getting, "Well, I'll do a medium." I mean, usually it's extra large for me. I mean, it used to be. And it's just the funnest thing to be able to just pick something off the table, and is the smallest one, and it works, and like these pants that I have on now that I showed you the picture of in the mirror, the burgundy ones, these, it's just so cool to be able to wear leggings.
Those are nice leggings. What kind are they?
These are Jean sent me the
Who sent them to you?
Jean.
Oh,
Is she there?
there's a person watching named Jean.
Jeanne.
No, this
Oh,
Jean only one
oh
N.
yeah, that's Jean Bruner. Yeah, from Iowa. She's a
They're
bicyclist.
whatever brand that is, I really like them.
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
Very cool. Well, there's a comment I just saw
They've got lots of pockets too.
from Jamie wants to know what brand of vitamin B12 and D do you take? I take my B12 is called Pure Encapsulations because that's the one that Dr. Goldhammer sells. So I don't necessarily buy it from him, but that's the brand I like. What do you like?
My D is the pure encapsulations that Dr. Goldhammer had. And the B12 I just picked up. I had some tablets from Kaiser, and they were so big I could hardly swallow them. So I finished those off, and now I just got something at Costco. So we'll see if that works.
Nice. Crazy Farm Girl says, I would love to go to True North as well, but just not in the budget as of yet, but it's on my bucket list. Well, for the price of 1 day at True North, you can do the entire Reboot program for 30 days and spend 3 hours with Dr. Goldhammer and 3 hours an additional 3 hours with Dr. Lyle.
And you
So
can ask questions, and
yeah, it's really
and
fun. Really
your
fun.
questions will probably be answered anyways, because he's so wonderful. He'll just answer all your questions.
Yep. Tina says yoga pants are sexy. And yes, being skinny is the way to go. Not so much even being skinny, Tina, but being healthy. So
Yeah.
that's, I think, the other thing. Did you have any health problems when you had the excess weight?
Me?
Uh-huh. Well, no, who
Well,
else?
like I was saying, that I had I didn't know it, but I had high cholesterol, high blood pressure, high heart rate. I was heading for pre-diabetes. So yeah, yeah. And my sister, she has breast cancer, just finished chemotherapy.
Fine.
She was pre-diabetic. She has high blood pressure. So I mean, and my whole family is on high blood pressure medication except for me. So so I was heading there definitely.
But none of them are interested in trying to eat this way, are they?
No, my sister, when she got diagnosed with cancer, she came down with a pad and pen and said, okay, what do I need to do? And she has done amazing through her chemo. She's never had any side effects that, like sick, nausea. They kept asking her and wanting to give her drugs for, nausea and stuff. She goes, I'm not having any nausea. And then she had the mastectomy, and she just bounced right back from that. She was back to work within 2 weeks, and they thought that she'd be out for at least 4 weeks, maybe 6. So, I mean, she was responding so much differently being on plant-based diet since last February, so almost a year now. So, and the only thing is she slipped back into drinking coffee again, and her blood pressure's back up again. So, um, she's, I told her about Say May, yeah, the
Yeah.
coffee substitute. So she's going
Nice.
to try that, see if she can get
Nice.
off it. Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. Do
Yeah.
what are your plans for the future? So many people want to be a health coach now. Is that what you want to do too?
No, no, I love just doing what I'm doing just for my pod, getting on, and I love cooking. I didn't used to cook. I didn't used to enjoy cooking. I didn't used to be in the kitchen. I wouldn't mind it if somebody else was there with me, which of course I guess you could say that now because I have the company of all the girls. Um, but I just love being in the kitchen now. I can spend a whole day in the kitchen and just not even give it a thought. I make, all my own dressings. I make milk for Steven. I make him oat groats. I make homemade corn tortillas with masa. When I'm raw, I do all Liz's stuff, her tacos and her wraps. And I just love experimenting with all the different ways of doing things. Kathy Hester and the Esselstons, and uh, there's just so much. Broccoli Mom now. I mean, there's just so much to explore and experiment with. I just love it.
Wow. You're really an inspiration, Janet. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me, and I just hope everybody will come on board, and let's make the world healthy again, and loving life and getting up in the morning ready to go. And I just so hope that for everybody.
Yeah. Well, keep up the good work. Keep on pedaling. And I look forward to seeing you in the next reboot.
Thanks. Maybe we'll see you at the one of the fests, and I'd love to come down for one of your potlucks or one of your
Or,
meals.
I don't have the date yet, but you came to one of our conferences and
Yeah.
we're trying to get a bigger location because
Mm.
we capped out at 250. So we're looking at Weimar, which is, we could have 400. And so maybe you'll come. It might be this summer. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. I know I'm going to the NHA in June.
Hmm.
So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there. And yeah, I'd love to come.
That would be great. Thanks so much, Janet.
Yeah. Thank you, Chef AJ.
Enjoy those wonderful potatoes. And thanks, you're lucky. Thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please come back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time. We have a brand new show that's going to debut I believe this is it is tomorrow, the second Friday of every month with Dr. Monica Agarwal. She is a plant-based cardiologist, and she's going to tell you everything you need to know about heart disease, what to do to prevent it, and what to do to reverse it if you already have it. Take care, everyone. If you're interested in the reboot, just click the link below. Bye-bye.
Do it. Do it.
Oh, you want to say something else? Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, do it. Do it.
Do it, do it, do it. Okay, great. Thanks. Absolutely. Just do it. You'd miss 100% of the shot.